Quarry materials, mulch, animal manure and processed soils are commonly used in construction, parks and gardens. But if you're not careful, these materials can harbour and spread fire ants. Processed soils can include compost, underturf and other soil blends. That's why it's important for anyone working or purchasing material from within the Fire Ant Biosecurity zones to carefully manage them. The Biosecurity Regulation 2016 outlines the required storage and disturbance procedures you must follow if working with these materials. If the materials will be on site for more than 24 hours before moving off-site, there are a few ways you can store it. If the material is stored on the ground, then it must be both covered and placed on a fire ant-resistant surface such as solid bitumen or a concrete slab, or a barrier that cannot be penetrated by fire ants like 200 micron plastic sheeting. You also have the option to store material off the ground as long as it is covered to prevent fire ant infestation. Quarry materials, mulch, animal manure and processed soils can also be stored on compacted ground that has been treated with an appropriate chemical before the material is placed. You shouldn't store any material directly on sand, even if it is compacted and treated. Be aware, any on-ground storage requires a chemical treatment to be applied in a 30cm strip around the perimeter of the stockpile. All chemical barriers and perimeter treatments must use a liquid bifenthrin insecticide, which must be used as outlined in the Australian Pesticides and Veterinary Medicines Authority permit, the safety data sheet and the product label. Another accepted mitigation under the Biosecurity Regulation is rigorously disturbing quarry materials, mulch, animal manure and processed soils at least every 21 days and at least 24 hours before movement to another place. To reduce spread risk and the chance of fire ants establishing nests in stockpiles of materials, there are a few options. You can turn it, screen it, crush it, or chip it. If you opt to turn the product, you must rigorously turn all material leaving the site. There is no need to disturb the material if it is being transported off-site within 24 hours of it arriving at your property. In summary, before moving quarry materials, mulch, animal manure and processed soils from a property within the Fire Ant Biosecurity zones, you must move the material off the site within 24 hours of receiving it, or follow the storage, treatment and disturbance methods outlined in the Biosecurity Regulation and this video. Alternatively, you should take the material to a nearby waste facility. If you are unable to fulfill these requirements, it may not be safe for you to move your material. Talk to us about your options. If you are buying quarry materials, mulch, animal manure or processed soils, it is also important to ask the seller if the material has been produced and stored in accordance with the regulation. You don't want to be responsible for bringing this pest into your neighbourhood. Make sure you keep records of the actions taken. These will help prove you are compliant with the regulation. Records must be kept for at least 2 years, and failure to do so could result in penalties.